and disappoint the wicked. Taz, we live right now.
Okay, on both. Okay.
All right, you want it now, huh?
We live right now.
Hey, Shalom Akim,
Shalom Akim.
Thumb.
All right, man, it's another beautiful day, man. A beautiful day in the downfall of our enemy, the so-called white man. All right, I want to first say Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, for water, Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, for your tender loving mercies, and for thy words that you've blessed us to speak. And may we speak thy words in edification for the masses, for the brotherhood, which are the hopeful, the elect of Israel. All right, Hashem Yahweh Shai, the water. All right, we back at you another one. Now, this brother we have a show today, called the Wildman. Yeah, and without no further ado, turn the floor to Elder Tazadakba. Oh, we also have Elder Ayathan. We have 3 different feeds going on at the same time. So on my feed, got me, myself, Tazayawan, Tazadakba, and Elder Bishop Ayathan on the stream. So without no further ado, the brothers will start the show.
Okay, brother. So we're gonna talk about the Wild Man, and I'm gonna give a shout out to it's a brother out in England. I don't know who he's affiliated with, but his channel is called KMZ, and probably after this is uploaded, I'll probably in the description link one of his videos in the description, and you can go check him out. He actually did a video on the Wild Man, and brothers happened to see it, and then I went and did my own research on it, and the Wild Man that is spoke about during medieval times is the so-called white man, the Edomite. That's who it is. See, there's a book that was put out by the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's called The Wild Man Medieval Myth, and it was printed in 1980, and it's currently not available no more. You can look on Amazon, and they'll show it to you, but it's out of print. The paperback and the hardcover are out of print, and it's not going to be reprinted because in there is all the images that are on the internet, on Google Images of the Wild Man in medieval times comes out of that book. So, and what they're trying, Esau saying, oh, that was just a myth. No, it wasn't a myth. Those were your foreparents and your forefathers during the Middle Ages that were walking around on all fours, looking like a goddamn bear with hair all over their body, eating raw meat, having sex with animals, living in the forest throughout England, Scotland, Ireland, France, Germany, living in the forest and living in the caves, while Israelites were living in castles and sitting and ruling as kings and queens in France and England and the Netherlands and Ireland and Scotland and England, Switzerland, all these different areas. Jake was in power. Switzerland, basically, Schwarzer, black land, by the way. Schwarzer land, black land, Switzerland. So we're going to start with the scripture. I think it's in Daniel.
Okay. Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
See, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. All right? The Most High rules in the kingdom of men. And what it's going to say is he set up the basis of men, meaning the lowest of men. You're the lowest of the lowest scum on the planet Earth is you Edomites, you so-called white people.
That's right. So it says that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. Showing you the Lord controls everything right now in this time. Start with their elites on down. The so-called white man thinks that he's God, and they think they got into power because of their own merits and their own power. No, the Lord put you up there. He controls things. He sets, the scripture tells you, he sets up one king and sets down another. You know?
Yep. And when you read it,
right.
when you read that scripture, and the Most High is showing you how he could take someone low, the basis of men, and through his power, he could raise him up to own the earth.
That's right.
Yep. So showing you the power of the Most High.
That's right.
You know?
And giveth it to whomsoever he will.
And he giveth it the power, right, to whomsoever he will. So that's why when you look at it, because we were in power during the Middle Ages. And by the way, if you go to Google and you look up what does the when did the term Dark Ages come about, or what does the term Dark Ages mean, or something like that, it should pop up and say that the Dark Ages was basically from the 5th century to the 14th century is considered the Dark Ages. From the 5th to the 14th century. During that time, we were in power. And why Esau they coined that as the Dark Ages from the 5th to the 14th century, because they said, look, between that time period, there was no literature, there was no inventions, scientific inventions, so to speak, which is bullshit. Because all the inventors are Jake. Even there's a tapestry of the Moors in 1440 AD, and I think Ayathan probably has a picture of it, or could pull up a picture of it. All right, go ahead. You can read that, Ayathan. Why it's called the Dark Ages.
Okay, yep. This is Google, like you said. It says, why were the Dark Ages called the Dark Ages? The Dark Ages were between the 5th and 14th centuries, lasting 900 years. The timeline falls between the fall of the Roman Empire and the Renaissance. It has been called the Dark Ages because many suggest that this period saw little scientific and cultural advancement. Bullshit.
Right.
Now, this is what Revelation, the 20th chapter.
Yep.
Because the Revelation, the 20th chapter goes into the Dark Ages and how Esau was going to go down, right?
That's right.
And it said that the Lord's going to put chains around him. So Esau was in slavery under us for a period of time. But then the Most High raised him up. And this was via the bubonic and the bubonic plague, right? Esau came back into power. They revolted, came back into power. And then around the mid 1400s is when the Renaissance period came about, which is the rebirth. And from that point on is when they started changing all the history. So they started changing all the dark images to white images to hide their history.
Right. They did all that, and they came up with what's known as pseudoscience, which is false science, to try to explain them being in power. When you had a guy in the late 19th century, which would be the 18 whatever, named Johann Blumenbach, and he came up with the 5 classifications of race: Caucasian, Malaysian, Mongolian, Ethiopian, and there was another one. I forget the name, but it was 5 different classifications of race. And the superior to him, he said the superior was the white race. And that was Johann Blumenbach.
Yeah. I think it was a Caucasoid, Negroid, and Mongoloid.
Caucasoid, Negroid, Mongoloid.
Yeah.
Those were like those are 3 of the 5, but the Caucasian is the superior. And then you also had Darwinism that came up within that same time period. So this was pseudoscience that was brought about to reinforce Esau as being the man, a godlike figure, or being the people of God or whatever, and being on top. There was pseudoscience that these devils brought forth, like you said, to hide the history of who they really are, which are the ancient biblical Edomites that the Bible has spoken of.
Yep. Well, Todd, just to back you up, you remember this, right? Was that Django?
Yeah, Django, right.
In Django. Remember my man Leonardo DiCaprio? And he went into what you said, going into the science and using that theory to say that, looking at Jake's skulls, that they were inferior to Esau, and that Esau was superior. Right? But when you go into scriptures, what does it say? This is Jeremiah 10. It says that Jacob is a former of all things. And if you look into history, underneath everything that they hidden, right? The scriptures talk about the veil that they cast over all the nations.
Right.
You'll find out that all the inventions and everything that Esau has, he stole.
Exactly.
Everything. So contrary to what he would like you to believe, he is inferior and Jake is superior. If we get Deuteronomy 7, 7 and 6, real quick.
Oh, before you get that, I got one for you real quick.
Go ahead, brother.
I got one for you real quick. There's a Habakkuk 2 and 4. Talking about the so-called white man right here. This is Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, But the just shall live by faith. And that's what we're living by. Faith. Faith in what? That the Lord is going to destroy our enemies and set us back up. All right? And set us up right. Starting with the elect.
Yeah.
Verse 5. Verse 5. I'm sorry. You have something to say?
Yeah, his soul is can you read that part again?
God. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Right, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. It's talking about Esau, meaning Esau, just more proof that he is the wicked. Esau can't do right, even if he wanted to, even if he tried. He can't do it. Just like a dog can't be a cat, Esau cannot be righteous. He can't do it. He's not programmed. It's not in his DNA to be righteous. He can't do it.
That's right. That's right. But
that's why the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy.
That's right.
He can't help but be the devil, to steal, to rob, to get wherever he needs to go.
That's right. He's the devil. John 10:10. The thief
John 10:10.
comes for to steal and to kill.
That's right. And to destroy. But the just shall live by his faith. Verse 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. And that's why they lie. He's in power right now, so what he's doing is he's trying to erase history and rewrite it and put it in like he's God and everybody else is his subjects. That's why their elites are trying to erase what do you call that? Margaret Sanger, what do they call that shit again?
Right.
Genocide?
Eugenics. Yeah, that's why
eugenics.
Eugenics. Get rid of the low, which you know who they're talking about when they say that. It starts with your so-called blacks, your Latinos, and your Native Americans, which you are the Israelites in the Bible, in case you don't know. Right? But that eugenics is about getting rid of, basically it's about getting rid of us. All right? They want to get rid of their own people because he's the devil.
Yep.
And get rid of the other certain peoples of the other nations. You know? That's their plan.
Undesirables.
And who they classify as undesirables. But when you read the Bible, you come to find out that he's the biggest undesirable on the planet Earth. From all the scriptures we're going to bring out and the history of the times of Dotbot is going to bring out. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. And what's that wine? His philosophies. His wicked, backwards philosophies. That's
his science.
His science.
His theories. What do you call it? What do you call them things? His hypotheses.
Yeah.
They teach us, what they taught us in school, man, none of that shit is facts. Like, none of it's facts. It's all hypotheses that most of those so-called philosophers denounced when they on the grave before they gave up the spirit. They denounced it. Most like what was my man? The theory of evolution. Was it Darwin? Darwin, right?
Yeah.
Darwin, which he did basically, and his Darwin denounced his theory of evolution, right? The Big Bang theory was denounced. All those guys, those things were even denounced. But my point is, everything we learned in school, none of it is facts. It's all BS that Esau came up with.
They make shit up.
Yep. That's what they do. They make things up.
Like, for example, there's a solar system, everything goes around the sun, and there's 9 planets. Then as the years go by, they minus the so-called planets. Okay, there's no more Pluto, there's no more Neptune, there's no more this. He's a devil. And what happens? The world follows whatever he says.
Can I read this scripture real quick?
You got it.
It's in the brother put in a chat, Assyrians. It's matter of fact, I'll highlight it. Job 13:4. It says, "But ye are forgers of lies." Now, what is a forger? A forger is someone that makes something, right? Yep. But to forge something, it means you got to go through like some extreme effort. You got to be a real devil to go through the trouble to forge something together. These lies. I mean, these devils spent a lot of money, a shit ton of money to hide the things that they've hidden, to come up with the lies that they've come up with. You know, like, they try to tell you. I'm gonna give you one example. Like the chariots, right? They try to tell you that those are aliens from outer space. From outer space, green men. Right? And they spent tons of money to fly airplanes and have these green dummies that they would throw out the airplanes and say, hey, an alien crashed. Right? I mean, that caused a lot of money. That's a lot of effort to go through. And then do you know, like NASA, when you go in a store and you buy a picture of outer space and the planets, when NASA takes them pictures, they got to send them to designers to get Photoshop, because those pictures always have chariots. They'll have chariots all over them pictures of space, so they got to send them to NASA to get them things erased, right? You go to the museum. In the museum, all those bones and all those dinosaurs, that shit is all made up, right? I'm not saying dinosaurs are not real, but I'm saying those things you see in the museums, a lot of that stuff is stuff that they made up, you know?
When it comes to the evolution, when it comes to the part of the museum that shows evolution, that's all stuff that they made up, because nobody actually sat there and actually watched an amoeba turn into a goldfish, and then from a goldfish into a spider, and then from a spider into a dog, from a dog into a cat, to a saber-toothed tiger, into a man, into a monkey, into a primate, and then into a man that can't walk.
Fucking
nobody
amoeba.
actually watched that happen.
Hey, you know what's amazing? And you got these people out there spending thousands upon spending their last. Well, a lot of them ain't got no money. They take out loans to go to these college institutions to get further dumb.
Yeah.
Stupefied, man. Oh, and a part of the scripture you're reading, brother, about he's the forgers of lies. A part of that is the iconoclasm.
Right.
The iconoclasm. That's them actually forging. You know?
Man.
That's why we're talking about what we're talking about, because the brother, if he could put one of those, I sent you the thing about the Wildman, right?
Before you go, hold that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you brothers on my feed, a lot of these pictures they're gonna put up. You can see it on call your name of your show. On GMS on air,
on GMS on air, and on Disappoint the Wicked.
Yeah, those channels on YouTube. All right, I'm just live feeding this what we doing right now.
Yeah, so like the brother said, if you're looking at Tazion's feed, you can see on GMS on air and then on Disappoint the Wicked. But iconoclasm, that's what they done, which is the defacing of images. They paid people to take dark images and repaint them over as white, and then push the dark images so far to the back. If you go to Google, for instance, and you put in like if you put in, say, like Constantine the Great, or you put in say Saint Nicholas, they're gonna show you images of Saint Nicholas, a white man with a beard, but in actuality he was a black man. And they'll show you the images of Saint Nicholas being dark, but then they'll show the same image lightened up, and then the same image lightened up even more, to the point where the image will look like a so-called white man. But the image, you see the image when you pulled it up, the image that was all the way to the right, if you go back, and all the images up, go back one more, the image that's all the way to the right over there, that's the real image of him, the dark one. Then that dark one, that's really him, but then they lightened him up. They made the same image, but then lightened them up. Then they lightened it up again, Then they put the so-called white man's face up in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Esau does it.
Gradualism.
And they phase the black image, the dark image out, and the white image is there. So you look at King James, King James the First of England, also known as King James the Sixth of Scotland. They had a person paint him over as a white person, but he's a black man. So this is what the so-called white man does. This was all done to hide the fact that during the Middle Ages, we were putting a foot in their ass. All right? They were living in the state of a wild animal, a wild beast. Like Job documents that, and we're going to read that scripture in Job the 30th chapter. And Genesis the 25th chapter about Esau. We're going to read that. So the brother did put the image up there of
I'll put it back.
He put the image up there of the wild man in medieval times. And Esau's trying to say that, oh, this was just a myth. No, it wasn't a myth. If you want to read that ayat, then the caption up under that, since you put it on the screen.
Yep. It says, from the earliest times, our sources associated wild men with hairiness. By the 12th century, they were almost invariably described as having a coat of hair covering their entire bodies.
Wait a minute. A coat of hair. All right. I got covering their entire bodies. And Zion's going to get Genesis. Now, I'm going to show you something here. This is a book from the Smithsonian called In the Age of Mankind. This was put by the Smithsonian Institute, which is where? That's what, in D.C., right? The Smithsonian, right? So I'm going to show you something in here, and Tazion's going to read the scripture because it said that they had hairiness all over their body. This is a bunch of goddamn so-called white people And look at him. Hairy.
He's like Gnome from Superman 2.
Yeah. Hairy.
Yeah,
beast.
right.
See it?
Yep. You should back it up a little bit, but yeah. There. Yup, and up. There we go. Yep. Just like yep.
Let me try to. You see it better now?
Con.
Better, right? There you got it.
Con. Yep. Yep.
There you go, Zion. And that's them. A bunch of damn Neanderthals on a nice cold winter day. They got hair all over their body like a goddamn bear. They look like they have this fascination with a primate. You are the monkey. You're the one that looks like a goddamn monkey. That's you. These are your forefathers, right? These are your ancestors. These are your forefathers. You damn devils, you so-called white people. And like what he was reading there, it said that you had hair all over your bodies. Elder Desire got the scripture.
Okay, I'll start from 21 and read on down. This is Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, which was Rebekah, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Right. So his wife was barren, Rebekah. She couldn't receive seed. Then he prayed to the Most High to open her womb to let her get pregnant, and she conceived.
And the children struggled together within her.
Because she was pregnant with two babies, two boys, who would later be known as Jacob and Esau. Go ahead.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Right. If it be so, if I'm pregnant, why is this going on in my stomach? What is this that's going on in my belly?
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations are in thy womb. The fathers, the 2 babies are going to become fathers of 2 separate nations. But these 2 babies are in your womb, and they're fighting while they're in your womb as babies. The war started in the womb, from like the saying goes, from the womb to the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
It says, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, not integrated. The Lord meant for us to be separated. All right, separated, like it says in what is that? Is that Deuteronomy 7 chapter 7 and 6?
Okay.
He wanted us to be separate, right?
7 and 6. Yep.
Real quick,
Yep.
I got it.
If you got it, Ayathan, or
I got it. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, which is Israel, the nation of Israel.
the nation of Israel. That's right.
The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
The Lord made us to be a special people above all the other nations that are upon the face of the earth.
God, the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people.
Right, we were the fewest of all people. So the Lord didn't choose us because we weren't in great number. We were the fewest of all people. Basically, we were the baby. And all the other nations, Ham and all the other nations, they was already set up. You know, they already was set up. They had numbers and all that. We were basically, if you want to say, the last ones to come up.
Yeah. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would show you God don't love everybody.
Right.
He just put a separation between the nation of Israel
And all the other nations.
and all these billions of other peoples on the earth.
That never ever changed.
It never changed. The Lord is not a man he should lie, and he changes not.
Nor the Son of Man that he should repent.
That's right. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand.
Right. So the oath that he swore to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Period. All right. So nobody else can claim that. The Lord has chosen us to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So let's go back to our Genesis 25. And Ayathan, if you could pull up that clip I sent you about Wildman Characteristics 1, I think it is.
Okay, I have it queued up.
All right.
Genesis 25:22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations are in thy womb. the fathers of two nations are going to spring up. The fathers, the progenitors of these two nations are in your womb, and they're fighting. Go ahead.
And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And two totally different people are going to be separated from your bowels. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Which that's talking about Jacob, because we're stronger than you. The reason why we're at the bottom and we're under you, the Most High had to intervene. Going back to what Elder Ayathan was speaking of when he talked about Revelation, the 20th chapter, where it said he must be loose. He must be loose for a little season, but to deceive the nations once more. How did the Most High intervene? The bubonic and the pneumonic plague. When the plague hit, right? When the plague hit somewhere around the height of the plague was around 1347 to 1350 AD. That was like the height of the plague. And you're talking anywhere from 75 to maybe 200 million people died in Europe. Those are estimated numbers when you look it up. They can't give an exact number because nobody actually counted every dead body. So they're giving you an estimate. Anywhere from 75 million to 200 million people were dead because of the plague. And that was around the time when the 1,000 years it speaks about in Revelation, the 20th chapter, right?
Was fulfilled.
The 1,000 years was fulfilled roughly around that time period. So that's why the plague happened. Then you had the Moors lost Spain in 1492. You also had in 1453, I think it was 1453, if I'm not mistaken, Constantinople was sacked by the Ottoman Turks. Constantinople was the eastern end of the Byzantine Empire, which that was our people, the Byzantine Empire. Black people that were ruling Rome all the way to the Balkans, all the way to Russia. From Rome all the way to Russia, Jake was ruling during medieval times.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people,
which is us.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder shall serve the younger. Do you have that do you find that clip, Ayathan?
Con, I got it. I'm bringing it up right now.
All right.
1 second.
Because it's going to shed a lot of light on it. We read about Esau in Genesis, right? The first came out red all over like in hairy garment.
We didn't get there yet.
we didn't get there yet, but we are going to get there. Yeah. So I'm going to have him read a little bit of this, and we're going to read more in Genesis. Okay. So go ahead, Ayathan. You can...
Okay, Con, here we go. So it says, by every account, the wild man's behavior matched his primitive surroundings. Strong enough to uproot trees, he was violent and aggressive, not only against wild animals, but also against his own kind.
Right.
His brutish, contentious nature expressed itself in a natural combativeness against which neither beast nor man was equal.
Right, because Esau, he's very combative. These people are about war. Everything you see with the so-called white man, when you look in American history, you look in European history, they're always going to war. They're always combative, and they're always going to war against somebody for whatever the case may be. It's going to steal people's resources, sack that society and make them poor, and then they set up their puppets in there to drain them of whatever resource they got. Gold, silver, oil, which is black gold, whatever the case may be. That's how these devils operate. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So Genesis 25 and 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over.
We're going to go back there, Ayathan. You can leave it up. Go ahead,
okay.
And the first came out red all over like in hairy garment.
Right. It said the first came out red all over like in hairy garment. Right. This was the first child that was born. The elder shall serve the younger. The first came out red all over like in hairy garment. Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau. And another point, they're not white. They just start calling themselves white till what, the 1600s?
Right.
They're not white people. They're colored. First of all, they have no color.
Right.
All right. They have no pigmentation and nothing. All you see is that red. All you have is that red, that their blood showing through their skin.
Well, just like these Neanderthals right here.
Yeah.
Just like these old funky ass devils right here, right? Just like them.
Hold on, put it on the screen.
the first came out red all over, like in hairy garment.
Oh, check this
Look
out.
at all the hair on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tazaiwan.
Yo, back in the old days, they used to call our people colored, right?
Yeah.
But they're not colored because they have no color. They're colorless. The color that you see on them is red, which is that blood.
That is true.
Do you see them devils? There was nothing clean about these devils when they were up there in the mountains. And when we go back to that clip you got up there, then we're gonna read that and it's gonna tell that. And look at their damn teeth. It looked like hell.
It look like that today.
It looked like doodoo on a stick.
Look, I know. I personally know white people got teeth like that. They smell that smell that old school cave smell still with them.
Yeah.
You know
that protrudy smell.
Damn.
Like, dude, back up from me, man. You smell. You know
they smell like outside.
The women smell this. They smell horrible.
Oh yes. They smell like outside.
Yeah, outside in the damn.
We got to bring this scripture out too.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead.
You got it. All right, done.
Okay, Genesis 27:11. His brother Israel will rise. Put on the screen. It says, and Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, "Behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man."
Esau, my brother, is a what? He's a hairy man, and what?
And I am a smooth man.
And Jacob is a smooth man. And most of us, Jakes, you look at us, even though I got hair on my arms and even on my legs, but it still looks smooth. It ain't like this. Okay? Like a goddamn bear.
See, they look at this picture. Y'all brothers probably can't see. That's all that black below their faces.
That's all hair.
Yeah,
It's all hair.
You gotta explain that because you can't really.
Well, Jacob had to put on was it goat skin? He had to put on animal skin.
He had to put on goat fur to mimic Esau.
Yeah.
To mimic Esau.
And the smell too.
Yep.
And the smell. Because when he went to his father Isaac, he said the voice is Jacob's, but he grabbed him and felt him and smelt him. He said, but okay, it smelled like Esau.
Mm-hmm. Right? Like a goat.
He smelled like a goat. He smelled like outside.
Hey, you brother that been with Edomite women, man, or near them, they smell like dogs.
Yeah, there's a funk about them that I can't even explain. Words cannot explain funk. Yeah. But you know it's them. But when you were a kid going to school, your school teacher, which a white woman, will bend over to check your work, and you smell her like back up.
Smell like outside, man.
They got that outside mountain odor to them, and even if you're out in the mountains smell good. The air, the pines, and the different trees, and the grass and all that stuff smells good. But a straight up mountain man that's out there in the mountain working stink like hell. Go ahead, Elder Tazaiwan.
And they don't wash. So back in Genesis 25:24, matter of fact, 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
That's right. There were twins in her womb. Go ahead.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Which in the Hebrew,
Ishah or Ishashwa, which means wasted away is he. What was wasted on him? His pigment. Okay?
His pigment.
He didn't have that pigment. He didn't have that color. So he was wasted away. What was wasted away on him? His pigment. You know what Esau looks like? You see the palm of my hand? That's what skin looks like without pigment. And you see it's like a reddish.
You know what? Your skin,
but even my palm is even darker than the Edomite.
Your palm got melanin to it, man.
My palm got melanin to it, but it still has it's like a transparent or like a pinkish type color. That's what skin without melanin looks like. It looks like this.
Yeah.
But my hand is actually darker than Esau's skin. But this is a representation of what unmelanated skin looks like. Your hands and the bottom of your feet. That's what they look like all over their body.
And that was a curse the Most High put on them so that the whole world would know who is the wicked. Esau is basically, I can't think of he's the only thing on the earth the Most High created that has no pigmentation.
That's
Even
right.
plants and trees, they all got pigment. It's called chlorophyll. Animals, he's the only being on the earth that has no pigmentation.
Yep.
That's right.
Can I bring something out real quick?
Go ahead, brother.
This is because that curse of leprosy goes back to Cain after he slew his brother Abel.
Oh, you got it? Good.
Yeah, this is Genesis 4, and I'll start at 11. This is after he killed his brother Abel. It says, "And now art thou cursed from the earth, meaning that the Lord stripped them of this pigmentation. Because when you look at the earth is different shades of brown, and the Israelites, are ranged in different shades of brown, from a deep dark brown to a light sandy brown, right? So the Lord took his pigment from them and cursed them with leprosy. So, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Right, because he was cursed from the earth, because the scriptures say he formed man from the dust of the ground. The ground is what? Different shades of brown. So him being cursed from the earth, or being cursed from the ground, meaning his pigment was taken from him.
Yep.
Like a brother put up in the comments, look at George the Animal Steel. You see how hairy he is? But that's kind of light hairiness. Even though he's hairy, they were hairier than that. All right? Because guess what? Back then, there was no Gillette, the best a man can get. You didn't have Gillette back then. All right? So their hair just grew and it grew and it grew and it just kept growing. You didn't have Gillette. That you wasn't able to go to a salon or a parlor and get the Brazilian wax your chest muscle, wax your bicep, wax your neck.
Hey, can I show y'all something?
Your calves, your back. You weren't able to go do that back at them times. So there was no Gillette, the best that a man can get, or no Remington.
Clippers. Yeah.
There were no clippers. I mean, there were scissors back then, but how the hell you would only cut so much of that with scissors?
Yeah, but they didn't have scissors. It was a high commodity. They could get their hands on those scissors.
They had sharp stones.
There were bumps. There were cave blows.
Yep.
I got something real quick for y'all. I'm gonna put on the screen. This is it's a thing Esau calls this hypertrichosis, right?
Mm-hmm. Show it. Bring it out. Bring it out.
I'm gonna let y'all say what you gotta say. But yeah, check this out. That's
werewolf children. Yeah.
Here.
That's them. That's what they look like.
All over like a hairy garment.
The first came out red all over like in hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Goddamn Teen Wolf looking ass niggas, man. I mean, no, Edomites. Teen Wolf looking ass honkies.
They're gonna be the new niggas.
Yeah, that's why they put shaving so much in the society,
Yeah, that's why they emphasis on shaving and Old Spice. They Old Spice everything up. Maybe
man, they can't not even shaving. They got to wrap themselves in duct tape and rip that shit off.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's straight up Teen Wolf, boy.
I don't see no Jakes over here.
Yeah, straight up Teen Wolf, man. Yeah. So that document you was reading, put that back up there.
All right, Con, I got it right here.
That's gonna show about the hairiness of Esau.
Con. So I'm gonna start from the top. It says, by every account, the wild man's behavior matched his primitive surroundings. Strong enough to uproot trees, he was violent and aggressive, not only against wild animals, but also against his own kind. His brutish, contentious nature expressed itself in a natural combativeness against which neither beast nor man was equal. So he was strong as shit.
Right. He was strong as shit because he was out there in the wilderness, living like an animal. He was strong as hell. When you're living that type of life, that rough life, hey, you're gonna be strong as hell. Like Elder Tazawin always talks about when he was younger and he went to Jamaica, how they would ride. They got a go-kart and they had buckets and they would ride downhill to go get water, but then you have to push those buckets and the go-kart back up the hill to go back up to your grandfather's farm. So what do you think is happening to you every day that you're doing that? You're building up those muscles. You're building up your core, your legs, your calves, your core, your arms, your biceps, triceps. Constantly doing that, man, you'll be diesel as hell and strong as hell because you ain't got a system of irrigation to bring the water to you. You got to go with buckets and get it and carry it and bring it back a long distance. So you're going to be physically built up when you have to live like that. You're going to be diesel.
And
go ahead.
Remember, this thought of a point. If anybody ever saw the first Planet of the Apes, so the elites of Esau know who they are because that's why they put this one line in the movie when they said, "Behold the beach man."
Right.
So they know about like what Elder Ayatollah is reading their history.
Behold the beast man, for he is the harbinger of death. For he will make a desert of his home and yours. Shun him. drive him back into his jungle
speaking
lair.
of his home and your home, what's going on right now with this nuclear talk between the U.S. and Russia?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's it. And the Lord made him that way.
Yep.
The Lord put that spirit in him, man. Because there's going to be nuclear war out here.
That's right.
And who's the principal ones that's going to bring it that the Lord is using? The so-called white man, Esau.
Right. Hey, and like in the thing, you got to read that again, Ayathan. He was aggressive even against his own. Like it said in there. So put that back up there. Let's read through that. And then we're going to touch Genesis again.
Wait a minute. Russia.
Yep.
The Russia's dropping bombs on their own.
Can I read 2 more verses here?
Go ahead.
This is back in Genesis. So it says, and Cain said unto the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
A fugitive and a vagabond, wandering through the earth as a fugitive from justice. And that's really what the so-called white man is. He's a fugitive from justice because he's supposed to be in chains under us, the children of Israel. But he's running around free. Let's go back to reading that thing, Ayathan. You put about the wild man. And we're going to read through it, and then we're going to hit Genesis, and we're going to hit Job 30 and 30. If you want to get that on back, Ibad.
All right. It says his brutish, contentious nature expressed itself in a natural combativeness against which neither beast nor man was equal, though his club and sometimes only his bare hands was his only weapon.
His club, because the caveman, him have a club in his hand. He got a weapon in his hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's about, weapons. What was Esau given? The scriptures tell you what was given to him was a sword. Isaac blessed Esau with the sword and said, by the sword shalt thou live. And we're going to go back to read that, but let's read through this, and then we're going to finish that in Genesis.
Yep. It says, with his instinctive knowledge of the ways of the wild beasts, the wild man was a skilled hunter.
What was Esau? Esau was a hunter, a man of the field. We're going to read that in the scriptures. Esau was a hunter, a man of the field. Go ahead, Ayathan.
Yep. The wild man was a skilled hunter, but in spite of his physical supremacy, shrank from contact with humans and frequently even with his own kind.
Right, because they didn't have no social skills. So his only social skill was really to hunt and really just basically to have sex to reproduce. And he used to grunt. They ain't have no language. That was them.
He's a beast.
That's how they talk to each other.
Remember the killer?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like on Hell Night. Yeah, like on that movie Hell Night. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think about
That's how they talk. That's how they talk. Like they were straining to take a shit. Ooga booga.
Hey, remember,
That's the
remember the Last Dragon that Eddie Arcade, and he hired the motherfuckers to kill what's my man, and he had that one Edomite. He wanted to get paid. He was like, ah.
Yeah.
He said, get that man anything. Give him a bone, and he smashed the table.
He smashed the table. Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Read it.
It says, with his instinctive knowledge of the ways of wild beasts, the wild man was a skilled hunter, but in spite of his physical supremacy, shrank from contact with humans and frequently even with his own kind.
Because we're humans, because he didn't look like a human. He looked inhuman. The humans were who? Us, Jake, and even the other nations that were round about were civil. This dude was in the woods, in the woods and in different caves and running around on all fours. Is going to explain in this document about the wild man. This is the wild man of medieval times that they say, oh, this was a myth. It wasn't no damn myth. These are your forefathers. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, indeed, his inept social abilities apparently limited him to only that cooperative union required for procreation,
which is sex. That's why in a lot of images of the caveman, you see them dragging a female, right? He got his club over his hand, and he's dragging a woman to do what? To go pop her. They usually go run, and they're seen grabbing somebody's maiden and running off and back into the woods with her, so they could go.
Hey, he went clubbing.
Right, he went. Yeah, that's right. He went clubbing. Go ahead.
It says, indeed, his inept social abilities apparently limited him to only that cooperative union required for procreation.
Sex.
Lacking agriculture,
But they
he was
wasn't
forced.
planting nothing.
Yep.
They couldn't farm. Go ahead.
Lacking agriculture, he was forced to eke out a substance from hunting and gathering.
Hunting and gathering. Right.
Yep. Thought to crawl around on all fours. And I think that's Esau, his philosophies. He tried to say that's where all of us, through evolution, he calls that what, the hunters and gatherers, right?
No, that's him. That ain't
That's
us.
him, exactly.
Because when they was doing this in the medieval times, we were living in castles. We were living in castles. We were cooking our food with fire. We had plates, forks, knives. We ate with etiquette at the table.
We were advanced. We were clean.
We were advanced. We had water running. We had water. We washed ourselves. We bathed. We brushed our teeth. We groomed ourselves.
Oh, I got it right here, Elder.
Right, and that right there goes to 1440 AD, and this is a castle in France that was being attacked by the Wildmen, and these are the Moors that are in the castle, and you see in the castle, you see the king and queen and the princess over there to the right with a crown on, black people, and you see the knights, the knights which are all black with bows and arrows defending the castle against the Wildmen, and you see them hairy ass, and they're coming with clubs and tree pieces broken
Sticks.
off the trees and sticks, straight up Ooga Booga style. They come straight up on the Ooga Booga tip. This is a tapestry that goes back to 1440 AD.
Good.
French tapestry of them in trying to invade a castle in France that was occupied by Moors. So they were living out in the woods on all fours, right? Like a goddamn animal, looking like a damn bear, right? And we were living in castles, dressed up, draped up in nice clothes with etiquette. So let's go back to that document and keep reading.
So it says here, lacking agriculture, he was forced to eke out a subsistence from hunting and gathering. Thought to crawl around on all fours, he scratched tubers and roots from the ground, picked berries and gnawed on verdure. Man, that's all in the scriptures.
They braid among the mallows, eating juniper roots and berries.
Oh man,
Well, wait a minute, it's saying that right here. This is talking about the wild man in medieval times. Go ahead, brother.
Yep. It says when he killed game, he ate it completely raw.
Wait a minute. He ate it when he killed game. He ate it completely raw. Now let's go back to Genesis and let's read some in Genesis, and we're gonna come right back there. Go ahead, Elder Tazai, when I know you got it queued up.
Genesis 25:25. It says, "And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel."
Notice it didn't say nothing about Jacob, because Jacob was a normal black baby, not hairy, with smooth skin, not hairy. He came out normal. Esau was abnormal. That's why it described him. Go ahead, brother.
And his hand took hold on Esau's
And he grabbed Esau's heel. As soon as Jacob came out, boom, he grabbed Esau's heel, signifying he's going to pull Esau's ass down.
Yep, that's prophetic. Because now we're living in the time of Jacob pulling down Esau.
That's right.
Through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Go ahead, brother.
And his name was called Jacob.
Right, Jacob, Yaiqua, which means supplanter. Go ahead.
And Isaac was 60 years old.
60 means 60.
60 years old.
Yep.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
Didn't we read about the wild man, that he was a skillful hunter? The wild man in medieval times, he was a skillful hunter. We're going to go back to that document, but we're going to read further down. You know, for time, we're not going to back up and go back to the top and read it. But it said he was a skillful hunter, didn't it? What it said there about Esau? All the desire one?
And Esau was a cunning hunter.
A cunning hunter. This is your forefather. Okay, this is Esau during the Middle Ages. It's the same description as Esau in the Bible. The wild man is Esau. Go ahead.
Hunting magazines.
Right, hunting magazines. They show the Edomites that they're going out there sport fishing. They catch the fish and they hook them, and then they hook the fish, show it, and then they put it back in the water.
They're going to
hunting for game.
Right, even not where we at here. They go out into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain time of the season they go out there shooting bears because there's too much bear population.
Yep.
You don't see Jake going out there. Yeah, I'm gonna help them out.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's mainly white crackers, hunkies. They go out there to shoot bears, shoot deer,
shoot deer.
They chop off moose heads and put it up on their walls.
Yep.
Bear rugs.
They call that taxidermy.
Yep.
They take the animal and they stuff the animal and keep it in
Stuffed
their house.
animals.
Have a bear.
Yeah.
And keep it stuffed in the house.
Like his brother Ibad said, they go out to after safaris and shoot a lion. They bring the lion back and stuff him up and have him up in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Posing. Yeah.
That's Esau. He's a skilled hunter. Go ahead, Elder Zion.
This whole thing is spiritual. It says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
Esau was a cunning hunter. Go ahead.
A man of the field.
A man of the field. Where was the wild man at? The wild man was in the field, in the wilderness, on all fours, straight up ooga booga in it. Straight up ooga booga style.
Beast mode.
In beast mode. Like Elder Abad said, he was straight up in beast mode for real.
And Jacob was a plain man.
And Jacob is a plain man dwelling in tents. Go ahead, Elder Zion. Let's read some more there in Genesis.
And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison.
Now, Esau was a hell of a cook. And a lot of them Edomite chefs, they bad as hell. They get down. And the venison Esau cooked, it was well done. Isaac loved Esau's venison. Esau could cook. He could get down. And a lot of them Edomite chefs, they be getting down. Go ahead.
But Rebekah loved Jacob.
Of course, Jacob, that's us. Jacob's a mama's boy. You see it all over with straight up mama's boy to the core. Jacob's a mama's boy. Go ahead.
Right. And the Lord set that up. The Lord did that.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Some things could play out.
So things could play out.
That's right.
You know. And Jacob sod pottage.
Right. Jacob was cooking some pottage. He was stewing some meat. Right. He was stewing some pottage. Go ahead.
And Esau came from the field.
Esau was going out to the field hunting, out in the field doing what he do. Go ahead.
He came from the field.
Came from the field.
And he was faint.
And he was faint because he was out there. He didn't catch nothing. So he was hungry and he was faint. Go ahead.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage.
Because it wasn't fully cooked yet. The meat was cooking, but the blood hadn't been cooked out of it yet.
It was still raw.
It was still raw.
That's right.
Esau said, look, feed me with that same red pottage. Go ahead.
For I am faint.
For I am faint. Go ahead.
Therefore was his name called Edom.
Right. So at that moment, his name was called Edom, which means red. Out of warm.
You know this, and to this very day, the white. If you go to any restaurant as a black guy or Latino guy or a native, and you order your burgers or your steaks well done,
yep,
they get a problem. They have a problem with that.
Right, they have a problem with it.
Yeah, you know, I had a cracker tell me that which is fucking bullshit. Show you he's a demon and a forger of life. He gonna tell me that eating it raw like that is more healthy. First of all, you can catch salmonella.
Right, you can catch foodborne illnesses from that.
Foodborne illnesses.
It gotta be cooked.
That's the shit they say. Yeah.
Parasites, things that you have to cook it well done. And they like to eat it. They'll either have it bloody or medium. The bloody,
like this.
Rare. Yep, like that. Bloody.
That's steak tartare.
Or medium well. Medium well is actually close to well done. It's damn near almost well done.
Yeah, but you very rarely hear them say they want a medium well.
Right.
They mostly say they want it bloody rare.
They want it bloody or rare.
Give it the bloody
right?
rare.
So you see the way that they cook, and if you go, so say you go to the casino and you go to the buffet, and they got prime rib there, and they got prime rib, or they got roast there. They got roast there, prime rib, even chicken. You go there, and the prime rib is fucking red and it's bloody, and you're like, nah, man, cut me a couple pieces, put that on the grill, man, grill that up and grill that.
Yeah, it's all light skin and red.
It's all red. The same thing with the roast. You're like, nah, man, put that on the grill. Put that on the grill, and then let me get that. And then if they got roasted chicken there, don't even touch it, because the chicken is gonna be soft and gooey, and bloody and pink on the inside. Nah, just leave that there. Don't even touch that. But that's it. Now, didn't it say about the wild man that when he would catch his prey in the wilderness that he would eat it straight raw? That's the Esau. That's the Esau, the Edomite, the Esau. Go ahead, Elder Zion. And I think we're gonna go right back there. So keep that cue. Go ahead, Elder Zion.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
With that raw meat. Go ahead.
For I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Right. Therefore was his name called Edom.
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Right. Jacob said, look, okay, sell me this day your birthright. and I'll give you this this undone pottage. Go ahead.
And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright be to me?
Right. Esau was like, look, man, I'm about to die, man. I'm faint. I'm hungry. What profit is this birthright gonna be to me? Look, I'm about to die right now, man. I want that red meat. I want that raw meat.
That's a scumbag.
Yep, that's Esau.
That's a scumbag.
That's the wild man.
A low life.
That's the wild man. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
Okay.
Right? So that's pretty much it on that.
I mean, the last verse.
Oh, you go. Okay, hit the last verse.
Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
And Esau despised his birthright. He didn't give a damn about it. So now go back to that ayathan.
All right, Khan. So it says, when he killed game, he ate it completely raw. According to Cretan, Detroit, and Vienne, many accounts, the wild man also indulged in cannibalism.
Yep. You tried to charge the Native Americans with that, but that is your funky monkey ass.
And the blacks.
Yep.
And it's like Tarzan kill off all the cannibals.
Right.
Yeah. They still do that cannibalism, with that adrenochrome. They drink
right.
blood.
You devils are into drinking blood, molesting children, popping them, and driving them to the point of insanity to make them so scared, and then kill them at that point because the body produces that has that adrenaline rush, that adrenaline hormone, and then they drink it. That stress hormone, and they drink it. So you're straight up vampires, man.
Khan.
Raw meat and blood. That's what you devils want. That is your history. Go ahead.
Yeah, like in Blade.
Like in Blade.
Yep. It says when he killed game, he ate it completely raw. According to Cretan, Detroit, and Vienne, many accounts, the wild man also indulged in cannibalism.
He indulged in cannibalism. Go ahead.
By the 16th century, this habit brought him into association with werewolves and other flesh eaters.
Right. So the werewolf, that was you. You hairy ass.
That was you.
That's you.
Vampire legend too.
That's Esau. He's singing.
Yeah, I got a scripture right quick. This is in Obadiah, right? The point is in 6, but I'm gonna start at 5. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they've had enough?
Right. Would they not have stolen till they had enough? Hey, shout out to Malcolm. I see you, brother. Quest for fire style. That's how they do it. Quest for fire style, man.
He said he hauled once.
That's how they communicate with each other. You know how you know how the horses be. The horses are there. That's how they communicated. Esau communicated with. That's a word. That's how they talk.
That's a sentence right there.
They break. That's a sentence. That's a sentence that means, "Bring me my food, bitch." That's what that meant.
Before I club your ass.
In wild man language. In wild man language, bring me my food, bitch, or I'm gonna club you. All right? Because we be clubbing. Everybody knows that the girl shakes something. Yay, yay. We be clubbing. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. All right, go ahead. Read that.
It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they have had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Would they not leave some grapes?
Right.
In other words, if a thief break in your house, man, he's gonna leave something, right? You're gonna leave some behind.
Right.
But Esau, I mean, he just takes and takes and takes and takes till you ain't got shit left.
Right.
I mean, he'll even steal your identity.
He's never satisfied.
You know?
Yeah. He can never have enough.
Was that Eldibad? Couldn't hear that.
He can never be satisfied. He can never have enough.
Khan, the scripture says desire enlargeth like hell, meaning he's never satisfied, right? Verse 6, it says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So everything we bring out tonight, Esau has been hiding.
Yes, they've been hiding.
Hiding
Yes,
it.
they've been hiding.
Hey, Elder, I got a couple images I want to bring out, man, because they've been kind of like showing here and there, but they hide things in movies, cartoons, books.
Yeah.
But so we just want to show you, brothers, that they know their history, right? They can lie to you and tell you they civilized everyone, and but we're gonna show their history. They know it. Now I'm gonna bring out some images. You know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna recognize some of these, right?
There you go.
Oh, hold on.
Again, brothers on my channel on GMS at the job. To see all these things, go to GMS on air
and disappoint the wicked
on
YouTube, and you can see the images that are being shown.
Yeah, we got three streams going on right now. So I mean, we can go to these brothers' channels and watch what they're showing.
But Elder Ayathon is showing who? Captain Caveman, who straight up Ooga Booga style. Look at all the hair all over his body.
Yeah, look at and he's got the club.
He got the club, and look at his foots. Look at his foots. All right. That's the wild man right there, Esau.
That's him.
Straight
right?
up. Straight up.
Let's keep going, right?
Yep.
Y'all remember this, right? Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
So the werewolf, they tell you that was Esau. Esau is a werewolf.
Yes.
He's the original werewolf.
That's him. Straight
right?
up Teen Wolf in it. Straight up
Teen Wolf in it.
Straight up Michael J. Fox in it all the way.
Now check this out. Y'all remember this, right?
Oh yeah, Harry and the Hendersons. Yeah.
Harry and the Hendersons. Hey,
who could
because
forget Harry and the Hendersons?
That's Bigfoot. Esau is Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Right.
You show Captain Caveman's foots, right?
Yep. There you go. Bigfoot.
And that's what they try to attribute the wild man myth, which is the book is called The Wild Man Medieval Mythology by the Museum of Modern Art, the MoMA, and the book is not in print no more. But that's what they try to say. It's a myth. Oh yeah, the Bigfoot myth and all that. No, it's the truth. That's you.
It's the truth.
The true and living Ooga Booga, the wild man, the hairy man. Okay, the man crawling on all fours, eating raw meat like a goddamn animal in the woods. Right? Is you? Is bitch ass E?
Bitch ass E.
Go ahead.
Now, check this out, elders. So, this is a term called troglodyte, right?
Which that means caveman.
That means caveman. Which they also say that this is a myth. They teach us as a myth, but this is real, right? This is Esau in his earlier state before Jake civilized him. We civilized him.
Right? And we're gonna read about that too, and we're gonna hit Job 30 and 30 because Job 30 and 30 got to come into play with that. So go ahead, finish to read that right there about the troglodytes.
Yep. So troglodyte or troglodyte, literally cave goers, right? Which is today that's what Caucasian.
Right, cave goers, and the word Caucasian goes between the Black and Caspian Sea, the Caucasus Mountains, right? Which is over in Georgia, Russia, but not all the Edomites was up in the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia, Russia. These are the wild man, Esau, the wild man during medieval times. They dwelt in the forests and in the mountains of Great Britain, of Scotland, of Ireland, of France, of Rome, all of them different areas, Romania, all of them different areas have woods and forests and have caves and mountains, and they dwelt in those caves and mountains throughout all of Europe. Most famous is the Caucasus, but all the Edomites wasn't just up in the Caucasus. The sect of Edomites known that we call today Amalek, the Ashkenazi and the Sephardim, they were the ones that were up there in the Caucasus. But them other Edomites, they were running around in the forests in France, in the forests in England, in the forests in Scotland, in Ireland, in Germany, creating hell and havoc for the black nobility. They were going against the black nobility, trying to snatch children, snatch and rape women, eating raw meat in the wilderness. That's what they were doing.
Hey, Elder Taz, I believe even up until the Greek and the Roman Empire that they had still had Edomites out there in the forest and in the woods.
Well, hell,
Um,
the medieval times is after the Greek and Roman, and that's after.
yeah,
That's BC you talking about. We talking
Yeah.
about AD.
yeah,
Well, what we talking about, this is AD. This is like you read about the Dark Ages is from the 5th century to the 14th century. That's what they classified as the Dark Ages when you read that on Google, right? So now something I'd like to introduce is this book by Arthur Koestler called The 13th Tribe, right? And Arthur Koestler was a rabbi, and he went through the history and was like, look, if his people, which are the so-called Jews, the big-nosed people, are Jews, there would have to be a 13th tribe because they are not from the ethnic stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which they are because they're Esau. They're from the stock of Abraham and Isaac, but not Jacob. They're from Isaac's son Esau. That's who they are because they're the Edomites. Now I'm going to read a couple excerpts here. I'm going to read from page 20. There's an excerpt here on page 20 in the 13th tribe that I would like to read. Actually, I'm going to start on page 19. At the very bottom of the page, it says, after a century of warfare, the Arab writer obviously had no great sympathy for the Khazars, nor had the Georgian or Armenian scribes, whose countries of a much older culture had been repeatedly devastated by Khazar horsemen, which are you so-called white people, you that call yourself Jews, the Ashkenazi and the Sephardim. It says a Georgian chronicle, which this is a Georgian record echoing an ancient tradition, identifies them, the Khazars, with the hosts of Gog and Magog, wild men with hideous faces and the manners of wild beasts, eaters of blood.
Whew.
Do you want me to read back that thing up, brother? You want me to back that thing up right there?
Yeah, back it up.
This is in the 13th tribe. This is page 20 at the top of the page. It says a Georgian chronicle, which chronicle means record, echoing an ancient tradition, identifies them, the Khazars, with the hosts of Gog and Magog. You're not Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is actually Japhetic, but you went into Gog and Magog's land and took over. It says wild men with hideous faces and the manners of wild beasts, eaters of blood. Didn't we read Genesis 25?
Con.
You saw with the red pottage. Didn't we read in that document, which we're going to go back to that document about how they ate raw meat? Now, this is about the Khazars, which became what is known today as modern Jewry in the 13th tribe by Arthur Koestler, who was a rabbi, and he wrote about this. Now, I got more up in here. I got more. You got something else to design? You want to say anything? You got anything? Okay. Now, let's go in here in the 13th tribe. See, we 13th tribe in it right now. So let me go here and show what happened when during the Middle Ages when Esau they were trying to convert these devils. I'm going to page 37 and page 38 and page 39. It says here, this is dealing with the Khazars. Another term they called them was the Guz, Ghuzz. It says the sexual morals of the Guz and other tribes were a remarkable mixture of liberalism and savagery. Their women, talking about the Khazar women, the so-called white women, okay, the Ashkenazi and the Sephardim, their women wear no veils in the presence of their men or strangers, because our custom, our women had to wear a veil and she had to be covered from head to toe. Now, the Ishmaelites, they practiced that. Their women wear veils over their face, right? That's only, her face is only supposed to be revealed to her husband. They wear the veil. You can see their eyes, but you can't see their face. And they got the long flowing dress to cover the shape of their body, not showing the shape. But it's talking about their women wear no veils in the presence of their men or strangers, nor do the women cover any parts of their bodies in the presence of people. So they're straight up buck naked, hairy as hell, the women. It says, nor do the women cover any parts of their bodies in the presence of people. One day we stayed at a place of a Guz and were sitting around. His wife was also present. As we conversed, the woman uncovered her private parts and scratched them. She had to scratch and sniff. She scratched them, and we all saw it. Thereupon, we covered our faces and said, my God, forgive me. The husband laughed and said to the interpreter, tell them we uncover it in your presence so that you may see and restrain yourselves, but it cannot be attained. This is better. Who the hell wants that thinking that shit? You know what I'm saying? Looking at that will make you refrain yourself. It says, this is better than when it is covered up and yet attainable. So them walking around buck ass naked, scratching and sniffing is better than being covered up. It says, adultery is alien to them, yet when they discover that someone is an adulterer, they split him in two halves. This they do by bringing together the branches of two trees, tie them to the branches, and then let both trees go, so that the man tied to them is torn in two. Now I'm going to read on some more, and then we're going to read Job, the 30th chapter, right? Because this is dealing with the 13th tribe, which is dealing with the history of you so-called Jews that in the century AD, you converted to Judaism, right? You were under Chagan Bullen, and he was looking for a religion to clean you dirty, nasty, filthy devils up. We're reading about your dirt, your nasty, your funk, and your filth. Oh, and it's going to get funkier. It's going to get funky. It's going to be funky for you because it's going to get funkier. Because now we're going to read about the men. Page 39. It says, it's dealing with these Turks. It says, accustomed to the splendid baths of Baghdad, our traveler could not get over the dirtiness of the Turks. So this particular traveler from Baghdad that was among them, dealing with them, he couldn't get over their dirtiness because he's speaking about it. He couldn't get over the dirtiness of the Turks, not the cleanness, but the dirtiness of these people. Filthy, nasty, funky. Like I said, it's going to get funkier. It says the Guz, which is these Khazars,
Wow.
do not wash themselves after defecating or urinating. So after they take a number two,
To this day.
they don't wash their arse, all right, and they don't wash themselves after they pee, and after they take a dump, after they do a number
That's Esau all the way, man.
Esau, the so-called white man, okay, this is him
1,000%.
1,000%, okay? He don't wash his ass after he take a boo-boo.
Oh, he don't wash his hands.
His hands, if you in a building,
You want to shake your hand.
one of them corporate buildings, and
Hell yeah.
they'll be in there dropping a log of hell, and then they'll get up and come out and won't wash their
They
hands
won't flush the toilet.
and won't flush the toilet, and they'll walk right out the door, and you look at them like, what the fuck?
And try to shake your hand and say good morning.
You try to shake your hand and say good morning. Oh, hell no. It says, the Guz do not wash themselves after defecating or urinating, nor do they bathe after seminal pollution or other occasion. In other words, after having sex and they bust off, they don't even bathe after that. It says they refuse to have anything to do with water, particularly in winter. When the Guz commander-in-chief took off his luxurious coat of brocade to don a new coat the mission had brought him, they saw that his underclothes, now they had underwear on. So when he took off this coat he had to put another clean coat on, you're gonna put a clean coat on a dirty ass. Who the hell gonna put clean clothes on a dirty, funky ass? That's the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks, cave dweller, the Caucasoid himself. I'm gonna read on. It says, when the Guz commander-in-chief took off his luxurious coat of brocade to don a new coat the mission had brought him, they saw that his underclothes, meaning his underwear, were fraying apart from dirt. For it is their custom never to take off the garment they wear close to their bodies until it disintegrates. So they had underwears on, and their custom was not to take the underwears off, but to let them disintegrate into the elements while they was wearing it. Straight up, is it funky enough for you? Is it funky enough? Because I'm going to keep reading on because it gets funkier. It says, and they wore the garment they wear close to their bodies until it disintegrates. That's the underwear. Another Turkish tribe, the Bashkirs.
Oh, you gotta make them know also that At that time, the Turks were the blonde hair,
Right.
blue-eyed.
Turks were blonde hair, blue eyed. The Ottoman Turks, right?
Yeah.
Which the Khazars became known as the Ottoman Empire, but then the other half of them also became known as what is modern Jewry to this day. Okay, they were converted to Judaism in the 8th century, right? And the ones who had converted to Judaism after the state of Khazaria was destroyed, because it was actually destroyed by Genghis Khan, and them actually took them down and destroyed the state of Khazaria. So then they fled, and of course, you know, they went westward into Portugal, Spain, and coming across to this way. But then the ones who stayed up in those lands converted to Islam and became the Ottoman Empire. So those Ottoman Turks are the same exact people, the Khazars. These so-called Jews, the big-nosed people, they are Khazars, and so are the Ottoman Turks. They're all Khazars, or basically Edomites, really what they are. So it says another Turkish tribe, the Bashkirs, shave their beards, right? And here's the kicker, and eat their lice like a person would eat rice checks or Cheerios for breakfast. They shaved their beards, and then they would sit there and eat the lice from off of their face and their body. Shave their beards and eat their lice. They search the folds of their undergarments and crack the lice with their teeth. And Ibn Fadlan watched a Bashkir do this. The latter remarked to him, "They are delicious." So this particular Arab cat, or basically Jake, was watching this dude just crack the goddamn lice. You know how you
Like
know,
pistachios, like a bag of pistachios.
you eat them, or sunflower seeds, you cracking them, and the Edomite, the Turk looked at him like, "They're delicious, aren't they? They're magically delicious, aren't they?"
And like usually a trail mix.
Like, yeah, like they were eating it like they were eating trail mix, right? So now we're gonna hit Job 30 and 30, and we're gonna go back to that document you was reading, because there's a second part to that document too.
I'm gonna read a few verses before I go to 30.
Okay, go ahead.
Job 30 and 1. It says, "But now they that are younger than I have."
That's gonna read a little louder.
Okay.
Read a little louder.
It says, "But now they that are younger than I have me in derision."
Right, which is the so-called white man, because they are younger than us. Because we went back to Genesis 25, they were born out of a black man and a black woman, Isaac and Rebekah. All right, they were born out of us. So they that are younger than I have me in derision. They got us in derision right now. Look at the state of our people throughout America and even throughout the world. All right, look at how Gad is living. They're living on the reservations. They're getting drunk. They get drunk out of their minds on the res. Right? You got Jake here in the ghetto. How Ephraim live, how Benjamin lives. You go to Jamaica, Jamaica's a fucking war zone. You can't be in certain parts of Jamaica, even if you're from Jamaica. You got to watch it when you go there. No matter where the tribe is at, in Colombia, down in Guatemala, Panama, Mexico. Oh, Mexico, how the Mexican mafia is running things over there. Look at how our people are living. Look at how they live. Go ahead, brother.
It says, "Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock."
Right, the fathers of these people that Job is talking about, which is you Edomites, the wild man, right? The man of the forest, the man of the field. He wouldn't want to sit you with the flocks of his dogs, because why? You would sit there and freak off with the damn dog. That's why. You sit there and try to have sex with the animal. And you were having sex with the animals. You practiced that. It's called zoophilia. And you're actually right now in the process of trying to get that passed and legalize. You're trying to legalize, number one, pedophilia, but you want to also legalize zoophilia.
That's bestiality.
Bestiality, which is zoophilia, right? That's classic so-called white man. Classic. You are the devil that the Bible speaks of.
And that's why they want to get rid of the Bible, because the Bible condemns bestiality and these things that he's trying to pass.
That's right.
You know?
Go ahead, brother.
It says, "For want and famine they were solitary."
Right, for want and famine they were solitary. Just like when you read in the document how they were in the wilderness, walked around on all fours. They encountered beasts and they would kill the beast and eat it raw. Walked around on all fours. Go ahead.
It says, "Fleeing into the wilderness in former time."
The wild man of the wilderness in former time, right? Job was talking about them. We're speaking about medieval times, but Job was speaking about it back then. Go ahead.
says, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste.
Desolate and waste. Go ahead.
Who cut up mallows by the bushes.
Who cut up mallows by the bushes.
And juniper roots for their meat.
And juniper roots for their meat. Now, didn't we read in that document? It said like how they ate berries. They cut up berries. That they whatever they could find, they scrounged it up and they ate it. Well, hunter gatherers. Well, that's right there, Job the 30th chapter.
They ate a lot of root vegetables.
They ate a lot of root vegetables.
Yep.
Juniper roots. Go ahead.
They were driven forth from among men.
Wait a minute. Elder Ibad read that they were driven forth from among men. Now we're talking about medieval times. So medieval times during the Crusades. Jake, I'm gonna put it here on the screen. If you could come to me, Elder Ayathon, because I got something here. This is a book called The Cross and the Crescent, a history of the Crusades. Now, during this time, medieval times, which we're speaking about, right? In here, it said in Job 30:30, it said they were driven forth from among men. They were driven. These were black men, the knights, that were taking these devils and pushing them into the wilderness and pushing them up into the caves. You see that, Elder Ayathon?
Yeah, Khan.
This is in the book, The Cross and the Crescent. You can see it real clear, right?
Khan.
Yeah, I see it.
It's crystal clear. Here you go, Elder Design, when you can put it up to your camera. So, read that again, Elder Ibad. They were what?
Job 35. They were driven forth from among men.
They were driven forth from among men. That's showing it right there in the book. I'm going to put the book back up. I got the brother putting it up on his camera on his phone. They were driven forth from among men. Go ahead.
They cried after them as after a thief.
And they cried after them. You see them?
You know, like when you cry after a thief, you're like, get out of here.
Get out of here. And you see, these are black men. These are the knights during the Middle Ages, pushing these devils up into the caves and running them into the forest, getting them the hell out of here. You dirty, stinking, nasty, hairy, pale, pasty, blue-eyed, blonde-haired devils.
Yep.
And this is the proof of it right here. The Middle Ages, which is what we're talking about. From the 5th century to the 14th century. Medieval times.
It says to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys.
In the cliffs of the valley. They dwell in the cliffs of the valley. Go ahead.
In caves of the earth.
In caves of the earth.
And in the rocks.
And in the rocks.
And in the rocks.
So that's where you get that term Caucasian, which means cave dweller.
Yep.
They know that this is their true history.
Yep.
Right?
And that's why they hide it.
And that's why they like to live their habitation. The scriptures say whose habitation is high. They like to live in high sky rises.
Yep.
100 floors up, because it reminds them of when they used to live in the caves.
That's right.
In the mountain.
Whose habitation is high. Yep.
It says, among the bushes they braid.
Among the bushes they braid. Ho-hee, ho-hee.
Like or they braid, like you see a horse.
Like a horse.
Or a cow.
Or a cow. How they braid. They braid. They braid among the bushes. They braid.
It says, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools.
Children of fools.
To this very day.
To this very day.
Mm-hmm.
Children of fools, yep.
Look how they got everything they come up with technology-wise destroys the earth, destroys your water, your air.
Children of fools.
The food that you eat, they poison the food you eat, the air you breathe, water you drink. Only a fool would do that. Put fluoride in your water, which fluoride destroys your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Physicians of no value.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Physicians of no value.
Among the bushes they braid.
It says they were children of fools, yea, children of base men.
Children of base men.
The basis of men.
The basis of men.
They're base. The so-called white man is base. The Lord put him over us as a severe punishment. To take the basis of men to rule over us.
Starting with the Rothschild
The
family,
lowest.
whose true name is the Bauer family,
Which means peasant.
which means peasant.
Which means that they're base and they're low. So I pull that document up and let's read through that. And then
All right, Khan.
because we're going to go back to Job 30, because that everything you read in there encompasses Genesis 25 and Job the 30th chapter.
Yep, I got a son as well that goes perfect.
Hey, Elder Inop, that's right. Caught red-handed. Can you understand it? Caught red-handed. Criminal, crimson, red.
Crime.
Yep. Caught red-handed. All right,
Yep.
so here we go. So it says right here, it says by the
Yep.
by the
Go ahead.
16th, yep, by the 16th century, this habit, talking about cannibalism, brought him into association with werewolves and other flesh eaters. Wild men were commonly thought to abduct children, but often they only to fulfill parental instincts. Instances of wild folk substituting changelings for human children are also recorded.
Right.
Although
Children,
he,
aren't they?
yeah.
Don't they abduct children and suck their blood and drink their
Mhm.
blood for the adrenochrome? They do that to this day. So the wild man is still doing what the wild man was doing back then in medieval times in the forest, whether it was Sherwood Forest or the forest in the mountains in France or in Romania, Georgia, Russia, whether it's in England, Scotland, Ireland, or in Germany, wherever the forests and mountain regions were, that's what they fought. And they would try to come into town and steal a Jake baby and run off into the mountains with him. Because
I
we
got
were
something for you.
ruling.
Yep,
But
I got something for you because you said they're doing the same thing today. So this is Jeremiah 13:23. It says, "Can an Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots?
nope.
Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil."
Right. So a person can't do good that is accustomed to doing evil. Okay. They are genetically inherent at doing evil and doing beastly and dastardly things.
Estranged from the womb.
The scriptures say the wicked are estranged from the womb.
As soon as they be born.
As soon as they be born,
Speaking
the wicked
lies.
are estranged from the womb. They goeth about speaking lies as soon as they are born. Right? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it says, wild men were commonly thought to abduct children, but often to fulfill parental instincts. Instances of wild folk substituting changelings for human children are also recorded. Although he was a hunter, the wild man was frequently hunted. Illustrations of the 14th century depict the wild men on all fours at bay.
Right.
Pursued-
They're on all fours. And you do have a picture of them walking around on all fours. Like a goddamn animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Go ahead. Now hit that other the other one, which is part 2 of this same thing that I sent you. Yeah,
All right,
there's
Connor.
another one that I sent you, which is the continuation of this.
All right, let me find this. Hold on.
We're gonna hit Job 30 again. You got anything else that's on? I see your eyes. All right.
Sorry.
Yep.
And then we're gonna hit the scriptures again.
Yep. It says, illustrations of the 14th century depict the wild man on all fours at bay, pursued by hounds and hunters on horseback.
Yep.
Incapable of speech, the wild man muttered only unintelligible sounds or none at all.
Unintelligible sounds. Ah! Oh-hee, oh-hee.
Huh.
That's them, the wild man. Esau,
Yep.
the Edomite. Like in Job, it said they brayed among the nettles. Read that again, Elder Ibad, in Job 30. Call it the verse.
This is Job 30, and I started at 4. It says, "Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat." It says, "They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief." So it goes right with what he's reading.
That's what we just read about how they were being hunted
Mhm.
on horseback.
That's right.
They cried after them as a thief.
Yep.
Yep.
Get out of here.
So you got that you got the other part of this?
Con, I got it. It's right here. It says, thought to live in remote mountainous and forested regions,
Wait a
the
minute.
wild man.
Remote mountains and forest regions. We read about that, right?
Mhm.
Go ahead.
The wild man especially flourished in the wooded or alpine regions of the German-speaking lands.
Of the German-speaking lands, which Jake was in control in the German-speaking lands. I do have Nature Knows No Color Lines, but I'm not, I got to kind of go through to get it. But in Nature Knows No Color Lines, it shows you all pictures of the black nobility in Germany, how Jake was ruling Israel. Israelites were ruling up in Germany. Germany, Scotland, Ireland, Austria, Sweden, Poland, the Netherlands, all of them different areas, Jake was carrying power. In Italy, in France, England.
You know Guess what? This tapestry we showed earlier,
Right.
that's took place in Germany. That's
Okay.
in Germany. Yep.
Yep.
So it says in the wooded or alpine regions of the German-speaking lands, such as Harz, Fichtel, and Allgäu Mountains of Germany, the
Right.
alpine regions are Carinthia, and the Tyrol in Austria, and Graubünden, that's a German word, and
Right.
Wallis in Switzerland.
Right.
And
Jake, we were ruling in all of those different lands, in all of those different regions. Jake was ruling. As a matter of fact, what's this guy? The guy in the $100 bill. What's his name? Ben Franklin.
Benjamin
Put out a Benjamin Franklin got an essay called "Observations of Mankind," and it came out in 1751. And in the essay, he speaks about letting these Palatine Boers, which means Low German farmers, which were black, come to the United States, and he said they couldn't accept our language no more than they can accept our complexion. Because if they were the same complexion as Benjamin Franklin, then they would be so-called white people. They weren't. They were black, swarthy complexion. And he was complaining about how Asia, Europe, Germany, Sweden, France were all full of black people. Switzerland.
You want me to read it?
What's that?
That quote by Benjamin Franklin.
If you can find it, it's called "Observations of Mankind."
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it myself.
I got it here.
Oh, you got it? You have to go down to like the bottom. Oh, you already got it. Okay.
So I can start from right here, I guess. It says and since detachments of English from Britain sent to America will have their places at home so soon, supplied and increased so largely here, why should the Palatine Boers be suffered to swarm in our settlements?
Right.
And by herding together, establish the
settlements here in America. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And by herding together, establish their language and manners to the exclusion of ours. Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens?
Right. And those aliens are talking about those Palatine Boers, which means Low German farmers, which were black men in Germany. Like you showed that tapestry, which was in Germany. And that was like in 1440 in Germany, I believe. And to let them come here and basically come here and take over. That's what he was basically saying. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. It said, become a colony of aliens, who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion.
Look, so they can't adopt their customs or their language no more than they can adopt their complexion. So these people in Germany he was talking about wasn't the same complexion as Benjamin Franklin and the white settlers that were here in the U.S. at the time. And this was in 1751 when he wrote this essay. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately small, very small.
Right. He was complaining that the number of white people was small. This is during the 1750s. Go ahead. 270 something years ago. Go ahead.
It says all Africa is black or tawny.
Which, right. Black, the word tawny means like like a yellowish brown or a sandy brown, like the sand at the beach, or like the color of a lion. A lion is like a sandy brown, which would be tawny, or somebody you would call like high yellow would be considered tawny. Go ahead.
Like a red bone.
Yep, like a red.
Yep. It says Asia chiefly tawny.
Asia chiefly tawny. In other words, yeah. Go ahead.
America exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. And in Europe,
America exclusive of the newcomers, meaning the Native American Indians. That they're what? Different shades of brown. They're dark skinned and tawny too. Also, that's what he's saying. Excluding the newcomers, which are them, the so-called white people, were the newcomers. Go ahead.
And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally what we call a swarthy complexion.
Which means black. Swarthy goes back to the German word Schwarz, which means black.
Black.
So
Yep.
they're of a swarthy complexion, meaning they're dark skinned, or what you would call black. Like in that image you showed in Germany, you showed them coming to the castle. They were trying to come and raid the castle, that German castle, and it was black people, the king, queen, and the prince, and the knights were sitting there with bows and arrows defending the castle from the Wildman, which is the so-called white man, the Edomite. And you put up swarthy. I seen you put the definition there. The definition of swarthy, it means dark skin.
Dark skin, yeah. Yep. It says generally what we call a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also. The Saxons only accepted, who with the English will make principal body of white people on the face of the earth. So, man,
the Saxons also, the Saxons, which means the sons of Isaac. Go ahead, read that part again.
Con. It says, and in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion.
Notice it says the Russians also are of a swarthy complexion, dark skin. Go ahead.
As are the Germans also.
As are the Germans also. That picture you were showing of the Germans that were about to be invaded by the wild men.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
The Saxons only accepted, who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth.
Well, the word Saxon means sons of Isaac. Now, you so-called white people, you can claim to be a Saxon, which is a son of Isaac, because Esau is a son of Isaac, but you're not the Anglo-Saxon. The angelic sons of Isaac came out of Jacob, which is the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So the so-called white man, yeah, he can be a Saxon. He is actually a son of Isaac, but he's not the angelic sons of Isaac. So you're not the Anglo-Saxon, but you can call yourself a Saxon, Esau.
Con.
You Edomite, devil, cracker devil bastard.
And hence what, England, because Jake ruled England, land of the angels.
Yep.
It says the Saxons only accepted, who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. I wish their numbers were increased.
But now Benjamin Franklin said he wished that the white people's numbers were increased. Read on. He's going to say something else too.
Yep. And while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants in Mars or Venus.
Right. In other words, they're trying to whiten up everything.
Yeah.
He's going to also say, he's going to make a point here. Go ahead.
Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people?
Wait a minute. Darken its people with all of these different black people from these different European countries.
Superior beings. They know they're inferior.
They know they're inferior. They know that we're the superior beings. How are they going to let the superior beings darken their country? Which this country belongs to Gad, Reuben, Issachar, right? Go ahead.
Con. It says, why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America?
Well, now they put the African shit in there, but we're Israelites. Yes, we were in Africa. All right, but we're Israelites. Yashar Allah. All right.
Con. It says, why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so fair an opportunity by excluding all blacks and tawnies of increasingly the lovely white and red.
Wait a minute, the lovely, we exclude all these black and tawny people, and we increase the lovely white and red. Now showing you that they know that they're the red man, that they're the Edomite. Now, he didn't say that the Native Americans were red people, right? He said the lovely white and red. He said the blacks and the tawnies, exclude them and increase the lovely white and red. Because really they're not white, they're red. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment named Esau, because they are the Edomites. Now, one of the brothers, GMS Hawaii, was asking if the link could be posted, I guess, for the article, observations of the Benjamin Franklin article. I guess that's what he was talking about. He's asking.
Okay, Con. Hey, that book you had earlier, brother, was asking what the name of it was, where you had the Edomites,
this one, the Edomites being pushed into the mountains, is called. The book is called "The Cross and the Crescent: A History of the Crusades" by Malcolm Billings. It's
And
called.
what's the other one that you opened up and had the cavemen?
Oh, the caveman. This one is called "In the Age of Mankind: A Smithsonian Book of Human Evolution" by Robert Lewin. It's called "In the Age of Mankind: A Smithsonian Book of Human Evolution" by Robert Lewin. And this was produced by the Smithsonian. That's the name of that book, and that was the name
All
of
right. Okay. So I got the other article you sent me earlier. If you want me to
we're gonna go back to Job, and then we're gonna finish up in that right there.
all right.
Job 30. So this is Job chapter 30, verse says, "My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat."
No, I meant the part about dealing with Esau and the mountains. That part. We're just gonna
Read
brush
it
over
again.
it again. Yeah, read it
Okay.
over it again.
Yep.
So it can be no mistake on who these so-called white people are. All right. In medieval times, they called you the wild man. Okay. Oh, another name they called you in medieval times was the woodwose. The woodwose means the wild man of the woods. So they say, in medieval times, you had the woodwose out there in the forest. Well, the woodwose means wild man of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
But
Job 30:3. "For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing wilderness, in former time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief,
they cried after them as after a thief. Go ahead.
to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and caves of the earth."
To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and the caves of the earth. Now go back to there and read that part where it says not limited to regions. However, the wild man.
Okay, was it this one? It says thought to live in remote, mountainous,
Go ahead.
and forested regions.
But you read that part already. I want you, because we're trying to end it. So go down to where it says figure 2, not limited to these regions. However, the wild
okay, con.
man, at the middle of the paragraph, right?
Got it. It says not limited to these regions. However, the wild man myth thrived through Western and Central Europe. In these forests, the wild man was said to make his home in caves, rocky crags, dank burrows, hollows in tree trunks, and other rude places.
Other rude places. Go ahead.
Occasionally, he fashioned primitive hovels of branches and mud. An 11th century Hessian document refers to such an abode as a wilder weebu hus, a wild woman's house.
A wilder weebu husk, a wild woman's house. Go ahead.
Toward the end of the 14th century, Heinrich von Hessler states in Diapocalypse that the wild man lived only in places unfit for human habitation, in fens and woods, in water and in mountains, in caves and in bushes. Woo!
Go ahead.
I
we're going back to Job 30.
30 and 6.
let me, Babak Shaf, I gotta bring this out right quick.
Right.
In Slovakia. Damn, I just had it. Slovakia. Wait, I lost it. If I'll let you know when I got it.
Mm-hmm.
He'll let you know when he has.
Okay.
He'll let you know when he has it.
It says to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and caves of the earth.
They dwelt in the cliffs of the valleys and the caves of the earth. This is Job 30 and 6. He's reading. Go ahead.
And in the rocks.
And in the rocks. Didn't we read that in that document about the wild man? The wood wolf, the forest dweller, the cellar dweller himself,
The Caucasian.
the tree trunk funk. Read that part again. The wild man lived only in places unfit.
It says the wild man lived only in places unfit for human habitation.
For human habitation. Wow. Go ahead.
In fens and woods, in water and in mountains, in caves and in bushes.
In caves and in bushes. All right. Go ahead.
Jungle Book, man.
It says among Job 30 and 7, among the bushes they brayed.
Among the bushes they brayed.
Under the nettles they were gathered together.
Under the nettles they were gathered together. We just got to keep reiterating it. Go ahead.
They were children of fools.
Children of fools, because this devil, everything he does in here He's polluting the very earth that you got to live in, polluting the very
Con.
you got to eat, the water you breathe. Fools. Go ahead.
Children of base men.
The lowest men on the planet. Children of base men, the lowest of the low.
They were viler than the earth.
They were viler than the earth, man. We read about they dealt and lived in places that humans couldn't even live there. But they're not human because they're the devil. They're the
beasts.
man. The beast man, the wood wolves, the cellar dweller. All right? You got something to Zion?
No, no.
So that
I got something right quick. If design I got.
Elder Ayathan.
All right. So this is we're gonna go back to the beginning. Now this is in Genesis chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at 13. And this is going to the serpent and Eve, which we all know serpent was the wild man, was Esau, the caveman.
Yep.
Right? Referred as a serpent. It says 3 and 13, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, or the wild man beguiled me, and I did eat. Right? And the Lord said unto the serpent, which is the wild man, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Now, dust represents a state of confusion, right? A low state. What we're reading and the photos and everything we've been depicting, all the history, is Esau in a low state, a confused state, no language, didn't know how to clean himself, no law, statutes, commandments. This is why he's referred to as a beast, because a beast just follows his instincts, his wants, with no law, statutes, and commandments to govern it. And this is a philosophy that Esau, or the wild man, gave to Eve, right? That that's what he gave her to eat, was this philosophy is do as thou wilt, right? Which was made famous by Aleister Crowley, meaning do whatever, YOLO, do whatever you feel like doing. If you want to pop an animal, go ahead and pop an animal if that's what you feel like doing. So that's Esau. So this is all history that Esau is hidden, man, through the spirit of the Lord. Like it says Obadiah, how the hidden things that Esau sought up. Lord got us, man, through the spirit, bringing Esau's just being exposed for everything.
Since you made mention of that, right? You read about Adam and Eve, right, in Genesis 3. Now I got a picture here I want to show. Adam and Eve was black, by the way. This is a book called Our Living Bible, right? Our Living Bible. Can you see it up there? I done.
I can see it.
Our Living Bible. Now here, when we open this book up and we go to page 152, there's an image of Adam and Eve. It says here, as the serpent beguiled Eve, 2 Corinthians 11 and 3. Adam and Eve on a fresco from the catacomb at Naples. So this is from Naples, Italy. In the catacombs at Naples, Italy. Right? And what do you see there? Adam and Eve. What color are they?
They Jakes. Dark, tawny.
No, swarthy.
Swarthy, yeah, that's what I meant, swarthy.
Yeah, swarthy. Look at that. This is Adam and Eve from a fresco in Naples. In this book called Our Living Bible. Adam and Eve.
Check it out.
I don't know if you want to put that on the screen over there to Elder Tazaiwan. So you went to Genesis 3. I said a fresco from Naples. That's just to cap it off, because we pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. If you got something you want to finish up with,
Yeah.
You got something to Zion?
Yeah. This is
What's the? It's the scripture I'm thinking about. I think it's in the Apocrypha about how the truth which has been so long hidden, now is made manifest, which is so long been hidden. I forget where it's at, but it's in the Apocrypha. But read what you got, Elder Zion.
All right. This is Isaiah 47.
Yep, I see that image up there. The true Adam. The National Geographic reveals true Adam as a black man. Of course, which we already know.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, Elder Tazai. When he's gonna leave that image on the screen,
Yeah.
Tazai was gonna read something.
Yeah, being that we're bringing out all the stuff they try to hide, everything's coming out to light. Everything about Esau is out there.
You know the one Jeremiah 8, they shall bring the bones of the kings of Judah. In Jeremiah 8.
Isaiah 47. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin Babylon.
Right, it says, come down and sit in the dust in the confusion, O virgin daughter of Babylon, which is America. America is the virgin daughter of Babylon.
Right, and really Esau.
Yep.
Because Esau's ruling America.
That's right.
Because Esau is known as the daughter of Babylon, the nation of Edom. So it says, and America is Babylon the Great, like the brother was saying.
Right, it's 2nd Ezra 6 and 28. The water up on the comment board. That's the scribe. I'll get it. Get the
Jeremiah 8:01.
yeah, get the Jeremiah. Go ahead, Elder Tazama. I'll get it.
O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldean.
Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
Because we're living in time enough, you being dethroned.
That's right.
The Lord is throwing you off your rulership.
That's right.
Off that power seat.
And revealing you.
Yeah, you're being revealed. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Because at one time, everybody thought America was that innocent.
Yeah,
even now,
Yep.
with this whole thing with Russia, America's the good guys.
Yep.
What make them the good guys? The shit they accusing Russia of doing, they're doing the same shit here.
And even worse.
And even worse.
Correct.
Oh, see, the Russians, they don't care about their people. They're tyrants. You watch, oh my, they got you people in a trick bag, man.
Yep.
Come on, some tyrannical shit. You just hold on and wait. Because we're living in those times, man. Jacob's trouble.
That's right.
And everything else that come with it, man. It's gonna be holy hell out here in America. If they already taking away your freedom of speech, now they're saying if you have different talking heads out there saying, look, man, I mean, Russia's doing this and that. What we got to do with that? So for you to say that now that they're cancel culturing you, they're saying that you should be put up on charges of treason. All right, they go to your freedom of speech and freedom of thought. All right,
And expression.
all right.
Yeah.
So he's a hypocrite. But anyway, it said, "O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender or delicate." Take, and as you can see, the nations they're all, even the NATO countries are talking shit against America.
That's right.
As going according to prophecies, because they're saying, look, y'all doing all this shit. Look, man, we don't really care what Russia's doing. Y'all trying to bring us into this war. We don't want that.
Right.
You know? And that prophecy's gonna be fulfilled. The beast shall hate the whore. So anyway, it says, take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers.
Uncover the, make bare the leg, read that again.
Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg.
Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. In other words, your nakedness is being shown. But then in another aspect, if you go back to the time of early America, the settlers, the women wore bonnets on their head. They had dresses that went all the way down to their ankles.
You couldn't tell what shape they were.
You couldn't tell what shape they were. You couldn't even see her hair. But it says, uncover the legs, uncover thy locks, make bare the legs. Now you see the average so-called white woman, she's dressed in scantily clad clothing, even the black woman. But the white woman mainly, because that's Miss Ann, she's dressed scantily where you can see everything. You can see the shape of you can see her hips, her dips, if she got any. You can see the shape of her birth canal from the front. You call it the camel toe. All right. Her hair and everything. They're just out in the open with everything. You can see there's nothing left to the imagination no more. Uncover the hair.
Yeah.
Uncover thy locks. Make bare the thigh.
Yeah, well, pornography. It's
Pornography. Yep.
This country is run by drugs and pornography.
Yes.
Yeah. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Like naked, uncovered.
Their nakedness is uncovered with everything that's being broadcasted on the news, and with the critical race theory, with them trying to hide the harsh things that they've done to us and to black and dark nations throughout the world. They're trying to hide everything that they've done. And
Yeah.
what we're doing right now, we're uncovering that. This lesson is about uncovering who the wild man is: Esau, the beast, the devil, the vagabond, the scum bucket, the Edomite himself, the Edomite that ain't all right.
Oh, by the way, we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. We understand they have that pressure from above, pressure from beneath. The ones that are pushing the critical race theory is Esau.
Yep.
It ain't some Jake one day. Yeah, we're gonna go. No, Esau's doing that to because he really believes he's the Most High. He's masterminding shit.
Yep.
The Lord is using him. There is gonna be a race war out here, man.
Yep.
Those are just seasonings for the race war.
That's right.
Because the international bankers were the ones that's pushing all this race theory and all this
Right.
to cause the right.
Yep.
Yeah, Terrell Jacob.
Right.
Yeah.
Jake didn't come with that shit. First of all, Jake don't even know their history. They don't know nothing. They didn't know anything because they watched the brothers pushing on the YouTube, man.
Right.
Watch the prophet.
Because prior to us, nobody was really pushing all that historical. All of a sudden now, nigga, yo, Black Towns was nigga, y'all.
Niggas, only thing you concerned with is getting some weed.
But all of
getting
a
something
sudden
to
now
drink.
they're experts.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Because they watch the Lord's prophets and they steal his word.
Right.
Yep.
So anyway, it says here, this is verse 3, Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen.
And we were showing you your nakedness uncovered, the wild man, the nasty beast man, the funkazoid, or how you were cracking lice in your mouth like Cheerios for breakfast and rice cakes and checks. Okay, we showed that. That's your nakedness being uncovered. How your woman, she would do the scratch and sniff, no clothes on, just ass naked in the mountain.
All your wickedness.
All your
All
wickedness.
the wickedness you've done in the earth and continue to do in the earth is being revealed by the Lord's prophet.
Right.
Right, from like Elder I not put in the comment, from Little House on the Prairie to Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Or from Little House on the Prairie to Lady Gaga, Lady Kaka.
I think that's even a lead.
Yeah.
I will take vengeance, and I will not meet you as a man.
So the Lord said he's going to take vengeance on you Edomites, and he ain't going to meet you as a man. Okay, Elder Ibad, read that, and then I'm going to close out with this last one over here in Esdras.
All right. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, verse 1. It says, at that time, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah.
And that's what we were doing. By bringing out these different books and reading these different documents, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, showing you that the kings of Judah were black men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Swarthy. Go ahead.
It said, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves.
Right. So we were bringing you the proof. Now we're going to end it on this one. This is 2nd Esdras 6 and 27 and 28. If any brothers want to elaborate, it says, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched.
That's right. Evil shall be put out by who? The Heavenly Father. Because what's evil? Evil means bad times. Ever since the so-called white man's been ruling for this little season, from the Renaissance till now, ain't been nothing but bad times. So it's going to be put out by who? Our Lord and Savior. That's who we are patiently waiting for.
Yep.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, who the world ignorantly called God, and his son, who ignorantly called Jesus Christ. His name is Yahushai. And he's black, and he's our Savior, and he's going to save the elect of the nation of Israel. And he's going to burn America and certain parts of the earth. And all the nations will be subdued by him, man. And he made his men, the nation of Israel, to be joint heirs with him, starting with the elect.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, and we're going to be living in peace, harmony. Then there's going to be peace on earth.
Yep.
Righteousness.
We're going to be super duper rich, not according to what you call rich. Way beyond that.
Go way beyond that.
Way the hell
Because we're
beyond
going
that.
Real generational wealth.
It ain't gonna be FRNs. It ain't gonna be fractional
Ain't gonna
reserve
be none of
banking.
that bullshit.
Our money is gonna be backed by gold and silver.
Ain't gonna need no effing
It
license.
is going to be gold and silver. Gold, silver, slaves,
Right.
Slaves,
Rubies,
cattle,
precious
land.
stones, gems.
We're gonna have, like the brother said, we're gonna have slaves. All you nations are gonna be our slaves,
Other planets.
especially the so-called white men. You're gonna be our slave.
That's right.
All right.
Our possession.
We're gonna be on top, man, and that's what we're patiently waiting for. clean water, clean air,
Yep.
food that we never could believe. So we're eating doo-doo right now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what super. I don't care what supermarket you go to. You're eating shit.
Yeah.
Scripture says we shall eat what?
Our meat defiled amongst the
Gentiles.
Gentiles.
Right.
Sometimes.
So that's what we're waiting for. So go on with that. Yes, we again.
2nd Ezra 6:27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched.
And deceit's all them lies, man.
And we just quenched them lies right
Quenched.
now.
They're being quenched by the history. And so the first and foremost, the Bible.
Number one, the Bible.
All right, and then we have the other documents, historical documents,
the archaeology.
to back it up.
To back up with the
And the archaeology came and backed up everything that the scriptures were saying.
Cause
It says, verse 28, 2nd Ezra 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish. This is the faith.
Yeah.
Our faith is flourishing.
Yeah, the word of Yahweh.
The word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is flourishing. That's why we did this lesson. That's why it went the way that it went. It was extensive, but we were bringing out the scriptures, and we were bringing out and breaking down the history and showing the comparison that this is exactly what the scriptures are saying.
Mm-hmm. That's why Isaiah 34:16, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, right? Because
It'll fail.
none of these shall fail, and everything that we brought out tonight, it was right in the scriptures, which is the source, and we pulled out these different documents, these articles, to back up everything that the scriptures are already said.
That's right. Yep.
You know,
Yep. So
this is our book, man.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead, brother. This is our book.
No, I'm saying this is our book, our history. You're not going to find out our history from the Edomites, from Esau, but our history is in the Bible. That is our book. It's our book, it tells us who we are, and it tells us who our enemy is.
That's right.
You know, which is Esau. It gives you his characteristics, what he's going to do, the way he thinks, everything.
What he likes to eat, how he likes to eat now.
Yep.
I mean, everything is in there.
Everything.
Yep. 2nd Ezra 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. Well, the corruption is being overcome. The faith is flourishing. The corruption is being overcome. All the corruption that you put out there, the lies, it's being overcome. It's being destroyed. It's destroyed.
Yeah, that's why they're trying to censor these shows.
That's right.
Censor the prophets of the Heavenly Father. Everything's being revealed.
Yep. It says corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And that's what we're declaring. The truth, which has been so long without fruit, has been declared. And pretty much, and that's it. And death and destruction to you damn Edomites and all of you other nations out there. And we like to say shalom to Israel, and we like to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Hashem,
Kodash.
and we like to say shalom, and hope you brothers and sisters on the comment board, hope you learned something. Shalom.
Hey, shalom.
Listen.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom, I not.
I thought you stayed there, man.
Yeah, Bishop Ainab, shalom. The bishops and the apostles in there, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, King.
Shalom.
Yes, so I thought you